is an amazing man whose career as an actor and as a show conductor has lasted over 55 years. At 87 years old, he was a senior when our own Fred was a sophomore. Isn't that right? He is now one of the stars. I'm in a lot of trouble. First, Johnny. One of the stars of the hit TV series Amen, which airs here at NBC on 8:30s. Please welcome Jester Hairston. Good evening, sir.
How do you do?
It's nice to see you. It's certainly an honor to meet you.
Glad to be here.
Oh, I'm glad you can be here.
I'm glad to be anywhere at my age.
Now, you started up as a musical conductor, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How did you make the transition into acting?
Well, in show business, you have to do everything to get along. I started on Broadway in 1930 as a singer, chorus singer, you know.
Yeah.
And then finally, I worked up to where I could work as a conductor. And I worked on this one or two shows on Broadway with the Schubert Company.
Yeah.
And then when I came to Hollywood in last week in 35, I was a conductor of the assistant conductor of the Hall Johnson Choir. We came here to do a picture, The Green Pastures. You weren't around.
Green Pastures? Is that?
Green Pastures.
Oh, sure. No, I'm thinking.
It ran 2 years on Broadway, and then Warner Brothers bought it for a picture. And they, instead of doing it with a black choir here in Hollywood, they brought us 50 of us back who had done the show on Broadway.
Oh, that's kind of neat. Now, settle a bet here. Someone said you were in The Alamo, the movie with John Wayne.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me. I was the only black man in the company. We had 400 of us went down from Hollywood to Brackettville, Texas, and I played a part of a slave. I was a slave of Jim Bowie, Richard Widmark.
Yeah.
In the picture, and we had a nice time. I had been in several pictures with John Wayne, but as a musician, I had choirs sing in the background of pictures with Dmitri Tiomkin, Russian composer. 20 years I worked with him right here in Hollywood and did his arrangements.
Now, you've written a number of people probably don't realize there's a number of quite famous songs, right?
Well,
you still hear them on the radio? I imagine you do.
Nice, you hear them on the radio. They don't know I wrote them, but maybe if they knew I wrote them, wouldn't be any royalties at all. But I have a few songs. I guess about 80 altogether. My field is the folk songs of blacks.
Right.
The slave songs. I'm interested in that, and all my music life, I've worked on slave songs, and some of them are very popular.
Oh, you're a real historian about it? I mean, do you have...
Well, I studied a lot about the slave life. My grandmother was a slave in Virginia. I remember as a child, I was exposed to it. She and all of her all her friends would come to our house in the summertime and talk over their tell about what happened on their plantations. You know, I by the time I was 10 years old, I knew as much as a Harvard professor about slavery because they would tell so many. You always ended up by the most gruesome ghost stories you ever heard in your life. Oh yes, every plantation had a ghost in it, and I was afraid at nights, you know. And I
bet you would be a terrific storyteller. You have a great voice. I mean, I could listen to you. You sound like, well, not right then. Not right there, but when you were talking.
If my poor wife has been dead now a little over 2 years, but if she when she was living, it heard you say that, she would run out of the room.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
She used to tell me I sound like something sent for and couldn't come.
I think you have a great voice.
I majored in music, and I studied voice for a long time in Boston. I understand you come from Boston.
I do come from Boston.
You do?
You still like to sing a lot?
Yeah, I went to school. Yes, I like to sing. I went to school in Boston, Tufts University.
Oh, sure.
You know Tufts?
Yes.
Tufts University. My first 2 years were at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst.
Yeah. Oh, I guess they had a remedial department there, judging by that.
In my day, when I was there, I was a freshman in 1920. Nobody here was living then, and.
Now, Fred DeCordova was just taking over the show back then.
They used to call that school Mass Aggie because it was agricultural.
That's
college,
right.
You know,
Yeah.
And that's when I was there. I played football.
That's right. You were an athlete too.
Sure, I was quarterback on freshman team there.
Now, really? No.
I was quarterback.
Well, I guess people were much smaller back then. I guess in those days. You always hear about it.
There were. The biggest man on and I was guard on the basketball team, freshman team, and the biggest man there was 6 feet. We thought he was a freak. Yeah, we thought he was a freak. And he was 6 feet tall.
Good heavens.
Tallest man.
Now
Singing was a hobby in those days, but then when I met a lady and she loaned me money enough to go to Boston and study with private teachers, and that's where I went into music. She said I was a musician. I didn't. And ended up in music, and I'm glad I did, because I really believe that if I make any contribution at all before I die, it was in the field of music.
Yeah. Well, you do a terrific job on the show. You do a great job on the show. Now, you're 87, correct?
87.
Now, how do you keep, I mean, you're in great shape. You work out?
I've been, both these knees have arthritis, and I had a new hip put in 10 years ago here for arthritis in the hip, but God has kept me going.
Yeah.
And 5 days a week on this television show, 8 hours a day. And
is that tough for you, or do you like it? I mean, you like working hard?
I love it. Yeah. I've been in the business all my life. I like it. Hard work doesn't hurt anybody.
Well, it can be pretty injurious to some of us, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know what I would do if I didn't have jobs like this in show business, trying to entertain people.
Now you're writing a book now, am I correct?
I'm trying to write a book on my life, but I don't have time on a show like this. Only 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. So I hope that we'll be through in March. And if we have some time, if I don't have to have an operation or anything, I want to spend some time working on it. I got it half to finish.
Half finished?
Yeah.
So that'd be up to about 1935.
No, the government sent me to Mali in Africa. They sent me all over the world, teaching people in those countries how to sing black folk songs, the songs of my ancestors in every country. All over Africa, I made 4 trips to Africa, and Yugoslavia. You should have seen me teaching the Yugoslavs how to sing "Rock of My Soul in the Bosom of Abraham."
Well, that's when you go to Africa and you teach them. What is it? I mean, it's.
I had the greatest time in my life in Africa, and I learned a lot of things that I didn't know. For instance, the rhythm. I taught these people. I had to have my songs translated in Mali. That was a French country. The French conquered Mali, and all the blacks had to learn French, just like we had to learn English. We came from Africa, but after we got here on Master's plantation, we had to learn his language. And so I had my songs translated into French on one side and English on the other, and we learned it first in French. And Rock of My Soul. Berce mon âme sur la poitrine d'Abraham, berce mon âme sur la poitrine d'Abraham, and so forth.
Hey, I'm just getting into it.
Why, they're clapping like they had some sense out there, Michael. I told, when we learned that particular song, and they learned it, then I said, now, gentlemen, I had 18 men and 2 women in the class, so I consider them all gentlemen. I said, gentlemen, you must... now that you've learned it, I want you to clap your hands as you feel it. And every one of them, this is what I learned about my race of people from Africa. Every single one of those black people, and they were all blacker than I am. I wrote my wife, and they said they call me Blondie. They think I'm a mulatto. But here's what they did. Rock my soul, and all of them. Rock my soul in the bosom of... I said, oh, no, for goodness sake. I've been bawling white people out in the United States for 40 years, telling them how wrong and square they are, and come over here and find all you brothers clapping wrong.
We'll be right back after this. That's great. That's great.